company's success for a century and a quarter. The fourth generation of Sabre has been released, and its forecasting and ordering facilities now extend to non-perishable goods. Sabre 4 will have a major impact on the efficiency of stock management because the handset now utilises a two-way radio link with the main computer in the store. Users can send and receive on-screen information in real time about things like product availability.
Excuse me, do you have any of the spicy bean salad?
As well as improving operational efficiency, it will allow management and staff to investigate problems on the shop floor, rather than having to spend time in the office at the computer. Since the last edition of Retail Review, cashless pay has been introduced for all staff. On the whole, it's been well received, but to ensure its success, an important reminder for everyone in management: don't forget to complete the daily attendance bulletin. If it's not done, staff may well not receive the correct pay. More information, faster. Retail Review is just one aspect of the improving landscape of management communications within Retail Division. There's also electronic mail, weekly bulletins, and several different streams of communication in print. There's the Retail Managers Conference as well. Last September, a group of JS directors took to the road to launch the management restructuring. And in the next few weeks, a second management roadshow begins a tour of the JS store network. The events are a forum for discussion between store managers and the directors, covering issues such as trading conditions and company strategy. I asked Nigel Broom to explain the intended benefits of the new roadshow.
Well, I think there are probably four major benefits to the roadshows. Firstly, they give the directors of the business an opportunity to regularly update store managers on strategy and also on goals and objectives. The thing about strategy is that it's ongoing, it's dynamic, it keeps changing. And I think in the past, when we've only had a conference every 2 years, the strategy has become out of date. And so 6 monthly roadshows will give the directors an opportunity to keep this refreshed. Secondly, I think that if store managers can regularly hear on an ongoing basis these goals and objectives set for them, they can better understand the role that they might play in achieving them. Thirdly, and I think very importantly, the roadshows give regular access to store managers, to main board directors. I think it's very important for them to see directors and be able to ask them questions. Fourthly, I think the roadshows themselves demonstrate a commitment to an open style of management and a willingness on the part of the directors, Colin Harvey and others, to come out, to listen to what store managers have to say and to answer their questions in what I think is a very direct and open style.
There are many forms of communication. Why more and why now?
I believe you can't have enough communication. But more to the point, we've probably reached the stage in our history where we've recognised that if stores are going to perform better and provide a better level of service, then it's going to be people that make the difference. And people won't make the difference without information. And that information won't come without good communication. And that communication has got to start at the very top. And I think if we can give out clear messages to our store managers at the roadshows, then we stand a better chance of that information being filtered down in a very relevant way to every member of staff. Now that's a process really we've began very well by STAR, but I think there's a lot further we can go. And lastly, I think what we're talking about is a different form of communication than anything we've had in the past. As one-way communicators, no one can touch us. We're brilliant. But as two-way communicators, I think we've got a lot to learn and we've got a long way to go. And I think what this process will do is enable us to listen more to staff.
How does Retail Review fit into the division's communication strategy?
Well, in a sense, although that is one way, it's very much the same as the roadshow. In other words, it gives store management regular access to people like Colin Harvey, regular access and update on topical and relevant features and messages, and I think it's been very well received. And the advantage, of course, is that it's more regular than the roadshows.
That's what's happening on the management front. What about staff? How are you communicating with them?
Well, we do realise there's a gap here, and what we are going to do over the next month or so is to build on the success of the retail video by creating, if you like, a sister video for staff. It'll be more topical, it'll be more magazine-y, and we'll trial it a couple of times to see how staff react. Of course, we'll continue to use the journal wherever we can, and we'll look at anything. There are many technological advances on the market now, but they're expensive, and I think we need to tread very carefully. And we will look to see what's available over the course of time. But let's not forget, people keep talking about getting back to basics, and I think when it comes to communications, that's absolutely right. When I go around the stores, very often I see on restaurant tables a locally produced, on AmiPro, store newsletter, which sets out the achievements of the store last week, one or two magazine-y, topical type issues, thanks to people for doing this and that. I think that's very powerful, and in its way, just as important as anything that the centre can produce, and we shouldn't forget that.
The benefits of the in-store bakery are now within the reach of every JS store. The results will be nationally consistent quality, a wider product range, and new opportunities for bakery managers. The process is actually beginning with a move away from scratch baking to central production of preformed bread and rolls for final bake-off in-store. An entire new factory has been established in Milton Keynes so that every store in the network can offer the same service, converting the preformed product into hot, fresh bread, which is not just available in the morning, but throughout the trading day. 56 stores are currently involved in the first phase, but following evaluation, preformed bread delivery will extend to all stores. The results will be an overall improvement in quality, consistency across stores, and access to a high-demand product for customers wherever and whenever they shop.
Brian Hawley, this effectively means that in-store bakeries don't make their own bread anymore. What implications are there for skilled bakers who work in the stores?
Well, it has to be remembered that the changeover to preformed bread is only part of the overall strategy we're gradually putting into place. And part of that is the introduction of many new ranges. Some of the branches will have seen the new indulgence cream cakes, for instance, which are in there. And many of those ranges and many of those products require the skills that we've got with our bakers.
Bakers are highly skilled and conscientious about producing product of the highest quality. You're effectively taking quality control away from the bakery staff.
No, we're effectively splitting it. So part of the quality control will be carried out at the central factory, but the final quality control rests with the bakery manager, as it's always done. They're totally responsible for the quality of the product they sell. And as time's gone on, they will see that the benefits of being able to give customers hot, fresh bread throughout the trading day, an enormous step forward for us. And already, as the trial's gone on, they've seen the quality of the product that they're able to give consistently to our customers.
How is the bakery strategy providing new management opportunities?
Well, it's really on two fronts. The first one is, up until now, the in-store bakery and the bought-in bread and cakes have both been physically separated in the store and dealt with by two different groups of managers. Over the period of time, these will be integrated, so the bakery manager will have responsibility not only for the in-store bakery, but for all of the bought-in bread, rolls and cakes as well. And that's a much bigger management role and gives them much more mainstream management opportunities and will lead them into mainstream branch management. The second, of course, is that up until now we've had over 70 branches which simply don't have bakeries. They're too small. We've never been able to put them in. This system allows us to book bakeries into those small branches, and that's exactly what we'll do.
Yet, in view of all these changes, are jobs in the bakeries genuinely safe?
The board have made it absolutely clear. There will be no job losses, there will be no redundancies. No one in the bakeries will lose their jobs as a result of this. And indeed, they've gone even further than that, to say those within the bakeries who wish to stay within the bakeries will be able to do so. So yes, their jobs are absolutely secure.
Colin Harvey, from a trading point of view, how successful was Christmas '94?
Oh, we were all delighted with Christmas. The period leading up to Christmas was extremely strong, and we've always said that Christmas now seems to be coming later and later, and indeed that manifests itself this year. But we had a very good supply situation, and managers had a new system, or at least 260 of them had new Sabre 3, That was an eerie sensation that created because they didn't have the backup stock, but the stock came in time to meet the sales expectation. I think what was disappointing about Christmas was the immediate post-Christmas situation, because the 2 or 3 weeks after that, trade was particularly flat. Now, I believe that a lot of people just took extended holidays. A lot of our customers are now used to having 2 or 3 weeks off over Christmas. It's not for the retail division, not for the retail business, but it certainly seems to be that way.
In the last programme, you covered the store security issue. What has happened since then?
The task force that we set up to review security have yet to make their recommendations. We'll get that by the end of February. But what we have done, and it's about to be launched into the branches, is a staff awareness video. Because what I really want is staff participation in security. After all, we employ 90,000 people in the retail division. They should be our eyes and ears on security. And I think we've rather turned away from that in the past. So now I really want the staff and managers to be more orientated towards good security in their stores.
JS is celebrating its 125th year this month. With all the work that's been going on in the stores, what real benefits would you want JS to achieve from all of this?
As purely a commercial proposition, well, it'll probably grow sales, but that ostensibly isn't the reason we're doing 125. The celebration really is for our customers. We want to try and reward them for shopping with us. Of course, we're probably going to grow some secondary shoppers who will turn on to Sainsbury's, because by the way we're celebrating this, it'll give an indication to the public that we are friendly and that we're a place to be enjoyed when you come shopping. The commercial side of it, well, there's some better offers and that could bring in extra business, but I've got to stress that that isn't really the reason we want the 125 celebration. It is for the benefit of our customers.
Nigel Broome spoke about the forthcoming management roadshow. What would you want managers to gain from that?
We can take the opportunity on this roadshow to set the retail objectives against the corporate objectives and outline business strategy for the group. But I enjoy the roadshows because I think they're a brilliant form of communication, two-way communications. And what we get from the roadshows is an opportunity for us to present the Blackfriars face of this business to the managers, and for the managers then to ask questions about any subject they want. Now, the research that we did after the last roadshow indicated that managers found this exercise very rewarding. So it's their day, it's not us, we're just there to take part really in what is now going to become a very important day in the calendar for a branch manager.
Many thanks to the teams at Princess Square in Bracknell and at Godalming for their participation in the 9th edition of Retail Review. If you have ideas for future items, write to Retail Review at JS Visual Communications, Rennie House, Blackfriars. That's Retail Review, JS Visual Communications, Rennie House, Blackfriars.
Hello, I'm Roy Shepherd and I want to welcome you to the 2nd edition of Retail Review, the news magazine programme for all members of JS Retail Management. Retail Review aims to bring you all the latest news on working practices and legislation. And if you feel the urge to record Coronation Street or EastEnders, we suggest you use one of these, because it's worth holding on to your copies of Retail Review. We're bringing you the kind of news you may well wish